Hi, I'm Raphael. Let's see together how to create a Google Web Toolkit gadget in OpenSpace. Let's start by a TIBCO documentation, Web Client API. There is sort of tutorial there with some prerequisite. So first of all, there is one prerequisite not mentioned here is to get a Eclipse environment because Studio is not enough. Then get Google Web Toolkit plugin and Google Web Toolkit Gadget API, TIBCO API, and the sample code. So let's do that together. Just locate different information there and switch to the Eclipse download and install. I have selected the latest Eclipse environment just on the download side and selected for Windows or Mac as you want, and I've selected the Java developers environment. So now you get your Eclipse, you just have to create some repository to prepare your tutorial and then get the Google Web Toolkit plugin. So be careful, you have to get it from the download side 2.4 and save it somewhere, and you have to get the gadget API. So just follow the link in the documentation and you get it. So back to your development environment, you now have a Google Web Toolkit 2.4 and the gadget API. You can locate now the TIBCO web client API. Just follow the link there, so it's in your install environment, ActiveMatrix BPM, and then you get the client API folder and you get your web client API jars. So I've just copied everything in a single location. And I've prepared also a place for the TIBCO samples. You can also open the openspace customization documentation and you will find there some information about the environment. I think we are ready to configure Eclipse now. So in Eclipse you can locate the download site for updates. So as I use Juno, you can start it. Then go to software update. And use the link you found. So you can select and get the plugin. So be careful here. You should not select the SDK, just the plugin, because the SDK is the 2.5 by default for Juno, and TIBCO is supporting only the 2.4. So just install the plugin. And then you can manually add the Google Web Toolkit 2.4. So just go into the preferences and find the Google Web Toolkit, and then you can add your Google Web Toolkit 2.4. Just locate it there. So you can manually add this SDK to your environment. So now it's properly configured. Here you are with Eclipse. Now switch to the sample gadgets. You will find them in the 2.0 document samples, and there is a zip containing the gadgets. Sample gadget.zip. So the zip contains two projects, one for Eclipse, one for Studio. So from Eclipse you can import, you will find it, and you will just see that you will find two projects in there. Just select the test gadget and you will get it there. You just have to configure properly the jar files. So I'm copying everything into under a var as explained into the tutorial, but I'm also moving the other jar there. So you can just get the TIBCO client API jars and copy them to be pasted there in var webinf lib directory. So the library directory contains the client API. You can see the Google Web Toolkit servlet, and I'm also moving the gadget there. So now you have to configure the build path. You can see the problems list and says that the build path is not configured properly. So to reflect all the jar you have in your lib directory. You can double check the Google Web Toolkit SDK and then add the missing jars. So basically everything under lib. And here we are. So there should not be any problem. You can compile it. So you just have to compile through the Google compile, and that's it. So that's the first phase done in Eclipse. It will generate all the project for you, and there are the test gadget repository. And by the way, you can also have a look at the README file. There are some description of the project. So we are done with this. You can close everything, and we will switch to Studio environment. So from Studio you can import the same zip and you will select the second project in it. So just locate this sample, TIBCO sample, and just select the first one, openspace gadget sample. So basically this one is done for creating a DAA and deploying into ActiveMatrix. I'm just configuring here some settings for my project viewing, but you should see openspace sample there. Locate on the file system the test gadget that has been created before. Here it is. So just copy everything here and paste into the test gadget corresponding directory into the Studio project. So this one is to create, as I said, a composite. So you may have a look, but basically just a composite containing all the files that have been generated in the Google Web Toolkit project. You can have a look. It's just including the resources in the test gadget repository here. So you're ready to generate your DAA. and we'll be able to deploy it on the ActiveMatrix. Just locate your DAA and connect to the ActiveMatrix BPM server and just deploy it. Just select the BPM environment, the BPM node, I'm selecting the HTTP connector as default connector. And you can now double check into the admin that a new application has been created and deployed. Just before, double check where the name of the description file, testgadget.gadget.xml, and the help policy file. So in the ActiveMatrix administrator, you can see now the openspace gadget sample running. And you can double check also the definition file by accessing locally from a browser to the XML defining the gadget. Here it is. Just check. So that should be good. You can contribute now your gadget to the open space. Go to open space and create a new tab there. Plus, in this new tab, we will add our newly created gadget. So more gadgets. And contribute gadget, you have to enter the URL of both the definition and the hub policy. That's it. And you can import. So that's the name we have double checked before. And you can import the gadget. So you will see the hub policy configuration, but as read-only. So just close this window and we will edit it later. In fact, in my environment, I have already deployed it, so I have this warning, but you should not see it. So manage gadget communication, and here you will be able to select all the events you want to subscribe to. So select everything here. So our gadget can publish and subscribe the event correctly. You can add the gadget to your environment. So select it, and that's done. So let's close this. And here is the gadget on our tab. You can see a menu there. You can access the work list, get the work list. But you cannot open the forms directly, but you can play a little bit with the different options. So open will just change the status to open and off, but will not actually open the form. It's not implemented in the gadget. You can play with the org model. Also, just a simple, very simple representation of the existing deployed org model. But basically, your gadget has been created, deployed, and is now working in OpenSpace. So that's the end of this session.